Welcome back to Podiatry Marketing. I'm your host, Jim McDaniel. Joined as always my trusty co-host, Tyson Franklin. Tyson, how's it going today?
I'm fantastic today, Big Jim, and I love being trusty. Trusty Tyson. So that's he always said we've got to come up with a name.
TT.
It's Big Jim and Trusty Tyson.
TT.
Yeah, I actually don't. I always reckon whenever somebody says, "Oh, but you can trust me," I don't
You
trust
don't
them.
trust them?
No. If someone says you can trust them, means you can't trust them because they shouldn't have to tell you that you can trust them to trust them.
But I'm saying that you are trusty. And like, it's kind of like back in the 70s and 80s, like that trusty sidekick or the trusty co-host. It's like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
know.
different if it's coming from somebody else. If somebody else
Yeah.
said, "Oh, he's a very trustworthy guy," and it's coming from a third person, and you respect that person, then you assume, "Yep, okay." I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and I got to get this book. It was really interesting. It was about 14. It's called "The Anatomy of a Con Man."
Okay.
Yeah, Anatomy of a Con Man, con person. And I didn't realize that when someone's a this with shows always educational. I did not realize that con man, it's an abbreviation of.
Confidence.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I did not know that. I had
for
no
sure.
idea that when someone's a con man, con person, con woman, the con is for confidence.
Yeah.
Incredible. Everybody else is listening to this going, "Oh, Tyson, thank you for coming to the party late." You are totally unaware of that.
Better late than never.
I know. Okay, we better get on. We've had a couple of minutes of banter. Today's topic, before you even ask me, Jim, is about referral marketing, and it's more than just asking for patients.
I like it.
We
I
have
think
spoken
that's going to
about
be a good topic.
we have spoken about referrals before. We've spoken about word of mouth. It's just taking a little one step further. So, why referral marketing works is like in podiatry itself. Word of mouth is gold. If you get patients or other people just saying, "Hey, you should go and see this podiatry clinic," everybody knows that's a good thing. So whether it's a patient, be a local doctor, physio, chiropractor, or even if another podiatrist, if they are sending patients your way, there's automatic built-in trust. And I know for a fact when I used to get certain referrals from certain doctors and physios, almost guaranteed 99.9% of the time that patient would follow my treatment plan because the other person had already given that trust to you, or they wouldn't have recommended them, and they trust that person. So it's always going to be beneficial.
Yeah, the fact that they have the confidence in you to send that referral and to make that referral, it's going to help transfer that trust. If they trust their primary care doctor and their primary care doctor says basically like Tyson Franklin's the greatest podiatrist ever. He's going to be
Awesome.
able to help you out. If they talk you up in a positive way and then send
Yeah.
you that referral, they're going to come kind of almost. I trust my doctor, so they say my doctor says you're great, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And so you kind of have that goodwill has already been kind of relayed to you. So it's your chance to kind of make that come true in a way.
Well, it's one of those things, and that's why it's really important to have like a system that you create. So when you're talking to people, they know how you would like the referrals to come. It's not like you're just talking to people and go, "Oh, look, if you have any patients, please send them my way." That's sort of it's so vague. Like, okay, yeah, not a problem. I think if there's specific problems or you have a certain interest in something, is talk to the physio, the chiropractic doctor, or even your other patients and let them know if you want to refer someone to me, this is the process on how to do it. This is the best way to do it. I used to always it's great if a physio referred somebody, but if a physio referred someone, but also gave them like a cover note, even if it was just a small note, just with a little bit of a scribble. This is John. Big problems are here. I know you can help them. To me, that even the patient walking in with that little piece of paper is better. So if that's how you would like it, and you know that's going to build up more trust, then try and create a system, and everybody knows how you would actually like that done.
I think that's a great point. I think it's also one of those things about the way that a patient sees themselves, right? I know that when I'm having an injury, or while I'm in my late 40s, I still see myself as like kind of like an athlete in a way. I work
Yeah,
out, I run, I do things, but if I'm if like the doctor goes out of the way to refer me to someone that treats athletes, or has some athletic background, I can feel like there's a connection there. And if the fact that my doctor referred me to someone like that, like a physio or a physical therapist that specializes in that, if it's something they could help out with, obviously, it's a connection that makes me feel like I was listened to in a way. So sometimes the way they refer patients to you is because you are a little bit different. Maybe you're a sports medicine podiatrist, right? So that physio or that primary care doctor, by kind of relating you to that patient in a way that they can have that connection with you, can make a big difference.
yeah. So, like you said, if you like sports and you know that the doctors, the GPs, or chiropractors know that that's what you're into, if they said to, "Hey, Jim, you should see Tyson. He's really good at that area of sports, better than anybody else in Cairns," why would you go anywhere else? You wouldn't do it. So that's the thing. But it's also the second part to this is like building strong relationships with your referral partners and having consistent communication with them, whether they're a professional referrer, what I talked about once just earlier on about being semi-professional referrers, or a non-professional referrer, is you need to have that consistent communication. Don't think that a one-time visit with them is going to change years of a habit they may have of referring somewhere else. So I think the first part of it is identify potential partners. That's really important, like your GPs, your physios, your chiropractors, whether it's orthopedic specialists, sports trainers, coaches. When I talked about semi-professional, I was talking about accountants and lawyers, but you've got your gym owners, local hairdressers, the florist down the road. Every person you bump into that has a business or who connects with other people is a potential referrer to you. And I know in the end, before I sold my podiatry clinic, I was probably getting more referrals from a local butcher down the road. And I'm not talking about an orthopedic surgeon, I'm talking about a butcher with meat. Than, um, than I was from probably the local physiotherapist. I had such a good relationship with my non-professional referrers because they just that they want to help people. Like if you got a, and the thing is, picture a butcher, for example. Most butchers are pretty funny. They have a lot of customers coming and going all the time. And most butchers, they have a regular clientele that go. Everyone has a favorite butcher that they go to. So there's a lot of banter that goes on between the butcher and their customers, a lot of laughter. So that person will very openly, they'll say, "Hey, how's your day going?" "Oh, yeah, great. Geez, my feet have been killing me." And next thing, bang, the butcher go, "Well, I have a podiatrist that comes in here, doesn't mind a bit of meat." And that's just how it goes from there. So I was getting more referrals from florist shops, butchers, hairdressing salons. Not that I'd get any from a hairdressing salon now, but so to me, not all referrers are equal, but you want to sit there and spend a bit of time working at going through a list of who are all the people that potentially you could partner up with in one way or another.
Yeah, some folks are just really good connectors, right? They just the way they're outgoing, or just the kind of nature of their job, the number of people that come in and out of their place of business or where they work at. So, the kind of getting in these good connections, and then, like you said, just taking the time to write out a list to see, who's already in that network that you have, and then if you don't have some of these ones you mentioned previously, how, who are some people that you can maybe connect with in the future.
Yeah, to me, it's the groundwork that you do earlier on, not just taking it by chance that, oh, maybe we might get some referrers somewhere or some referrals somewhere. It's make a conscious effort to actually do it. And there's certain people you want to add a little bit of value, so you might share useful resources that you've created. If it's a professional referrer, you may offer to do a presentation at their clinic, to whether it's to some of their patients or just to their team and staff, because if they can understand more of what you do, the more chance you've got of multiple people in a business referring to you, or just providing over a period of time, just educational material that could be useful for their patients, but also for your potential patients.
That's like I talked about in some of our other podcasts. It's really, sometimes people only know that you're a podiatrist, right? But what does that really mean? So the more
Yeah.
they can know about the services you provide, obviously, like I talked about previously, we're in our clinics all the time, so we know what we do. But if there's opportunities for them to let them know that, oh, you're in the OR, you're doing something else today, like just kind of getting that out in the open can kind of open their minds, like, well, yeah, I didn't know a podiatrist did that. So, like you said, educating kind of those around you about all the services you provide in an organic and a talkative and sociable manner is great. You don't have to beat them over the head with stuff, but I think it is one of those things where it can be helpful because maybe they don't know like the type of care you can provide.
No, you might have to beat them around the head occasionally, but easier way, easier way
Violence is
is
not
just
the
stay.
answer.
No, never. Violence is never the answer. I had someone yesterday. This is a funny story, side story. That it was 5:30 in the morning. I'm driving to the Muay Thai gym. Driving along, getting all psyched up. Anyway, I don't know what I did, but there was a guy who had sort of slowed down. So I went around him and cut in front because he was just going too slow. I mean, Mr. Road Rage kicked off in him. It's 5:30 in the morning. This guy is zooming right up the butt of my car, and he's got one of those pig hunting sort of trucks, big spotlights everywhere. And he's just got these on full beam, just right in. And then he'd slow down, then he'd zoom straight up my ass again, just missed me. This went all the way, he followed me all the way and until I pulled out the front of the Muay Thai gym. And then he pulls up at the front too. And then I think he realized where he had just pulled up at the front of. And I get out of the car and I've got my gear on and there's about 12 guys sitting at the front. And I think he's realized, I think I've bit off more than I can chew here. And he quickly just took off again. But anyway, that had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, it's about
It's just,
violence, and that
oh yeah.
person chose the smart route of not choosing violence that time. So
If he hadn't got out of his car, he would have just got swarmed on by everybody. Especially if he'd come out waving. Anyway, never do that. Road rage, it's the silliest thing. But what I was going to say is you want to stay top of mind with your referrers. This is how you keep getting them. Is send occasional updates of what service you're doing, success stories with your patients, and any time you've gone and done training, introduced a new service, new piece of equipment. Oh, don't keep it a secret. It's let everybody know that you have it. This is why newsletters are so important. And never rest on your past reputation. If you think you are the shit, you think you are the top dog in your town and you can't be touched because you are so good, someone else will come along and they will eat your lunch. Because if they get out there and they put in the work and they make connections with these people, they're going to win. It's just the way it's going to be. Especially as you get older, the younger people coming through, if the other health professionals in town are younger as well, you may find that they're playing touch football together. There'll be certain sports that they're coming across each other on a regular basis. So it's really important to just maintain those relationships, but also accept that sometimes you're going to lose some of them and don't feel bad about it. That's just life.
what relationships kind of ebb and flow, right? There's kind of a natural kind of nature to some of these relationships. So maybe you're building new ones that replace some of the old ones. You're kind of trying to build upon the old ones to kind of keep them around. But it's something that has to be an active process. It doesn't just happen by sitting back in your clinic office and and treating patients. You have to get out there and be active.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like you'll have your clinic, and there'll be certain referrers that you will have a relationship with, and you will grow together over time, over decades. But as the younger ones are coming through, it's just important to realize there's new people, there's new businesses coming in. If you don't reach out to them, the new person who's moved into town will. So and this is why it's really important to get your team involved to be aware of what new businesses are opening up. We always would be searching online or reaching out to places. And even when we're driving around, if we saw a new business open up, but we thought, well, we could have a partnership with them, we would reach out to them really quickly. Uh, Initially, sometimes we used to send an envelope with an information pack about our clinic. We'd say, hey, we just noticed you moved into town or you've just opened this clinic. We'd address it, we'd find out who the owner was, send something to them, and then we'd follow up with an email to make sure they got it. And then we'd follow up with another one, hey, I'd love to come in and have a coffee. And we just had this step process. So it was very structured on how we used to do it.
No, that makes sense to do it that way. Like if you can have a process, you're going to be able to repeat it, improve it, revise it, and just improve from there.
Okay, but I keep moving on because I tell too many stories and therefore we talk too long. Third thing is just turn your patients into just raving fans and advocates. I've spoken about your past patients as well, but you want to just make it easy and worthwhile for them to actually refer people to you. So I think the first part is if you deliver exceptional service every single time, every time a patient comes into your clinic, you just go above and beyond because people only refer people that they are confident with and make them look good. So if you're good some days, yeah, you're a bit off the next. You're okay the next one. Yeah, you're a bit off that time. Yeah, you weren't at your best because you were tired. You had a big day. And you whinge and complain to your patient about how busy you've been and how you're overworked. That's not going to instill confidence in them. And when they're talking to their friends, they're going to say, you should come and see Tyson. He's good most days, but don't see him on a Friday. He's horrible on a Friday. He's tired, he's fatigued, and he just doesn't really care. So you want to every time is just deliver great service. They'll feel confident in them referring somebody else, and then give them a reason to share and let them know, to tell people about you. You give them referral cards. Like I've heard some people do, bring a friend promotion or just small thank you gifts. When somebody does someone to you, or just out of the blue, just thanking your patients for being patients. And I used to say that my patients a lot, we'd finish a treatment and I would say to them, hey, Jim, I may not have said this to you before, but I really appreciate you being a patient, a long-term patient. Love it every time that you come in. Now, if I had someone say that to me, I'd be going, yeah, I'm a good patient or a good customer or a good client. It's people love being appreciated when they are. It makes them feel good. More chance they're going to send people to you.
When you kind of express the positive emotions to somebody, they're obviously going to feel special and probably want to reciprocate it in some way. So it's a great way to let patients know that you do care and appreciate that they come to you for their care.
Yeah, whether it's little thank you notes every now and then, just out of the blue. Like I have a drawer, and I've shown it before, I think, on this podcast, where I have a drawer here where I keep every thank you note, every card, anything I've received from someone who said, hey, Tyson, thank you for helping with this. Or, I listened to this podcast episode and it changed this for me. I got a file on my computer. I put emails. And every now and then when you're feeling a little bit, does anyone really care? You just pull them out and you have a read and remind you, your patients, professional referrers, non-professional, semi-professional, they'll appreciate the same thing. Little thank you cards of appreciation or a phone call is just the way that you should be doing it. So keep moving on. The fourth thing I just want to talk about was create referral-friendly clinic culture. So your team should really be a big part of your everyday practice, your team should really be thinking about these relationships, not as an afterthought, not like, oh, man, maybe I should have told them, spoken more about it. They need to just be aware that your clinic survives on referrals. So they want this to be top of mind, and which is why you always need to be talking about it at whenever you're getting together. Your communication and repeatedly getting referral sources is something you should be top of mind always.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, if they're not kind of actively being the face of your clinic or really kind of helping you kind of extend what you can do by kind of showing that positivity, by kind of showing what the clinic can be all about, no person can do it by themselves. So you need to make sure that your staff is on board with that as well, for sure.
Yeah, and it's train your staff to recognize referral opportunities when they're there, both inside and outside the clinics. You might have someone that comes into the clinic where you want them thinking about it, but if they're out and about somewhere or they're at another business and they go, wow, this would be a great partnership for the clinic that I work at, you want them thinking that instead of just buying a hot dog. You want to think, is this hot dog vendor someone that we could actually have a relationship with? And celebrate referrals with teams, with your team when you have your team meetings. So when you've got some referrals, every team meeting, just remind everyone, hey, we got 6 referrals this week. This is where they came from. If you're doing that on a regular basis, then you're training your staff to recognize and look for them, and make it easy. Whether you have templates on how to do it, QR codes, something that's readily easy to share, so people know how they can actually refer people.
Yeah, and when you invite your staff and maybe other physicians in your group to kind of think about this, you're kind of seeing these opportunities from a different perspective, right? I think we all kind of we see the world in our own ways, and sometimes we get
Mm.
into ruts, or we just don't always see those opportunities in front of us. But by having other people bring those things up to us, by thinking about it, having discussions about it, sometimes you can really kind of figure things out in a way that makes sense that beforehand maybe you wouldn't have thought of.
I know I could be at a conference and someone will come and go, oh, Tyson, I was thinking about reaching out to you about maybe doing some coaching, just short term. I go, yeah, that's fine. And I go, why? Why are they? Oh, yeah, things have gotten flat, and but the clinic's just gotten really static, and it's a bit stale, just needs a bit of a lift. And I go, no. So you're doing this, this, and this? And they go, oh, no, we used to do that, but not anymore. So start doing that. And after you do that, I said, see what happens, and then give me a call. You'll bump into them later and go, oh, yeah, when you told me this, that worked really well. But then they still don't do it. Then I know long term they're going to fall back to not doing it again. And I'll bump into them a year later. We'll go through the same conversations. So the last point I want to talk about is just tracking and recording these referrals. This is really important. Just keep a simple record. I don't care if you have a sheet of paper and you're writing it with a crayon. It's just keep track of where your referrals are coming from and acknowledge them and thank them, including your team members. So if you've had a team member and you've got those referrals purely because the podiatrist went out and did a talk without you asking them to do it, is really acknowledge it and make sure they feel appreciated for that referral. Nothing worse than giving a referral to someone, that person's used that service, you then bump into that service and that service doesn't even recognize that you did it. It's because they have no systems in place. So record them and have a way of thanking people. And then when you know which referrals are working the best, double down on them, lean into it, whether you're giving referral gifts, not at Christmas time. I don't believe in giving gifts at Christmas time. People get so much stuff at Christmas time. Give it to them at another time of the year when nobody else is doing it. We used to celebrate, like 14th of April. And we would send stuff out to doctors and all that. We go, yeah, we just want to let you know, we're just celebrating the 14th of April. Why? Because nobody else does. And at Pro-Arch Podiatry, we like to do things a little bit different. We used to celebrate Australia Day because nobody else celebrated Australia Day. In Australia, Australia Day is 26th of January. So it's 1 month after Christmas. So the whole Christmas thing is all died off. Everyone's forgotten about that. And then boom, we pop up out of the blue celebrating Australia Day and thanking people and dropping in bottles of wine to our best referrers. That was actually noticed instead of 1,500 boxes of chocolates and stuff that gets delivered in gift baskets that gets delivered at Christmas time. Identify your really good referrers and lean into it. Double down on those ones. Like I said before, not all referrers are equal. So when you're looking at them all, if there is a non-referrer, professional, non-professional who's referring people to you, is really let them know that you appreciate those referrals. And that's how you get more referrals.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think one point you touched on there as well is that, when you're having systems to kind of remind you of these things, so you can send out a thank you card or just give maybe a phone call as a thanks. When people aren't expecting it, like it just means a lot to them, right? Like it's going to be a way to kind of separate yourselves from other people by those actions, but you have to have those systems in place. If you're going to tell yourself, oh, I'll do that in 2 weeks from now, I'll write it down on this piece of paper I'm going to throw away tomorrow, like it's just not going to happen. So if you have to have some systems in place to make that happen.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. Like I don't believe in somebody sends you a referral and you go, oh, here's a bottle of rum for that referral. To me, that's then makes them think, oh, every time I refer someone to you, I will definitely get something in return. I don't necessarily believe in that. I believe you should acknowledge it, thank you card, an email, phone call. But if that person's referring people on a regular basis, you know that they're a great referrer, then send them a gift, but just don't do it when everybody else is doing it. And just say, hey, this is just for your continued support. Therefore, it's not directly related to any particular patient. So you don't think it's like you're buying referrals. It's just you're thanking them for liking your business. Your business is thanking their business or thanking that person individually. So referral marketing, just to wrap up, is about relationships, reliability, and recognition. So when you combine excellent patient care with a system that makes giving referrals, receiving them easily, that's when you're going to get more referrals, more high quality referrals, and you're going to get them on a regular basis. And you won't be chasing them all the time. That's the main thing. When you've got these systems set in place, the referrals just start to flow, and it saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of money and a lot of time. And I reckon if you want ideas for building a referral program that's tailored to your podiatry clinic, just reach out to Jim or myself. We are masters at this. We've done this for so long. So if you need help setting up some form of referral system, thank you system, just reach out to us.
That was a great episode, Tyson. Definitely a lot of valuable information for people to consider, the importance of those referrals and how to go about getting them and kind of building those relationships. That was a great episode.
Okay, Jim, I look forward to talking to you next week.
Sounds great, Tyson.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye now.
Auf Wiedersehen.